and it is 11 o'clock, and our next speaker is here.
Hello, and thank you for joining us, James. Everyone, our keynote speaker is our 2019 National President for Phi Theta Kappa, James Elliott. It's great that you're with us today. You're able to participate and give us some insight and what was your journey like, your educational journey, and where do you see yourself going with this? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to share in this community. I get to bring Manhattan, Morningside Heights to you where I'm staying now. And you get to bring New Mexico to me, a region that I wasn't able to travel to when I was international president. But Phi Theta Kappa is so important to me. And I think, as Faith was just mentioning, the importance of engagement and knowing what's going on, and the importance of Phi Theta Kappa, especially at a community college level where we know not everyone on campus is as active or as engaged. A lot of people just go and leave. Tyler, which was a VP, International Vice President, Tyler McKenzie, he wrote a great blog post about that, about how, most students will just go to community college to check in, and then, they check out and they miss out on so many opportunities. And I could think back and say, would I be sitting here today at Columbia University if I didn't engage? So Faith, I think you hit that straight on. Like, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad I caught that last little bit. It is so important. And there's only a select few that can be a top student, right? And you have to set yourself apart. And sometimes if it's just you, that might be a good sign. If you're just the one that's engaging, if you spent your time on this Friday to be engaged in the conference, that's a really good sign. And that's important. And I hope that I want to encourage that for all the students that are listening, and just continue to feed that and be engaged with that. I did prepare a slideshow. I don't know if I have the ability to share. Is there a way that I could, who's the host that could allow me to share? I'm sorry if I'm throwing a wrench in things.
Oh no, you're fine. I don't know, would it show at the bottom with the share screen?
I am a co-host now, so perfect.
Okay.
That works. I want to share. Let's do iCloud Drive. Let's do Conflicts. Oh, it's not coming out the way because I'm in the drive. Let's not share that. Let me try another way. I'm on a tablet, so we're not going to share. It's okay, because it looks like I don't have, it's going to ask me to, I don't want to share it through the drive because it won't be the presentation, but I'll just speak. It's fine. This is the virtual world that we live in, and I've been dealing with it as everyone else has, and you just, make do with it. So the first thing that I want to talk about, talking about my educational excellence, is I want to acknowledge my daughter. I do have a 3-year-old daughter. I don't know if there's any of their parents that are students, advisors. I know that we are parents. It was a hard decision for me. I got into Columbia. It was a great opportunity for me to come here, of course. But it was a decision that I had to make, knowing that I would be sacrificing my engagement with my daughter. So I like to respect her time by always acknowledging her in my life and everything that I do, because right now I'm here studying and I could be with her. So she's truly important with me. I had a very cute picture. She is an amazing little human being. She's changed my life, and she is behind the purpose of all that I do. And then I just wanted to share some info about me and who I am. So I am the 2019-2020 International President, but I also served at a chapter level in 2016-2017. I served as Vice President of Leadership of my chapter. I also served as Delaware State Regional President, so I was a regional officer as well. So my span as an active member in PTK was 3 years, and I got so much out of each experience. If you have the opportunity to step up and lead, we need student leaders, so please take that opportunity. Please do that. It's going to bring you so many things. And I think my accomplishments academically are less of a less of a testament of who I am and more of those people that I engaged with and influenced me and helped form me and shape me and through those leadership positions, whether it's my regional coordinator, was my chapter advisors, or whether it's the headquarters staff as an international officer. Each person that I could call a mentor or a leader has shaped me in some way and is the reason why I am where I am today. So some of the scholarships that I've earned with PTK, which is a great reason why you should join PTK, because there's lots of scholarship money. I was the Delaware New Century Transfer Scholar, so one of those are selected. I was the All Delaware Academic Team, All USA Academic Team, and inside of the All USA Academic Team, I was the Pearce Scholar, and then I received the first President's Award for Excellence in Leadership, which is given by the Board of Directors in PTK to the international president. Now it's going to happen every year. It's a 2-year, $60,000 scholarship, so $30,000 each year for your transfer. So if you need a reason to run for international office, there's a reason right there. It's a huge scholarship. It is something that PTK is very proud of bringing, because we know that a lot of our students win Jack Kent Cook. We don't have that big scholarship yet, and they are looking to build that, and this is the start of that, because they want to be able to give the members of the society that life-changing assistance. And so I did get to see Dr. Lynn this past weekend, and I have some news that's not official, but she is looking to give that scholarship like that to each international officer, not just the international president. So that's something that is not set in stone yet. Don't hold me to that. I'll deny I said it, but it is something that's in the works. And so it'll encourage you, if you want to take that step into international office, running for that campaign. It's an amazing opportunity, whether you win or lose. There's some inspiration and to inspire you to do that. I have 2 associate's degrees. I attended Delaware Technical Community College. I got a dual degree in human services. I have associates in human services and associates in drug and alcohol counseling. And I'm currently at Columbia School of General Studies, and my major is African American and African Diaspora Studies. And because of my engagement in Phi Theta Kappa, when I applied to Columbia, I received a scholarship I didn't know about. It's called the PAL Scholarship. It's Program for Academic Leadership and Service, and it covers my tuition and fees for as long as I'm here. And so that is an amazing accomplishment. I know the Dean of General Studies well. I'm working with her on a project, which I'll talk about. But my engagement in PTK, and she's directly told me, is one of the reasons why I received that scholarship. So PTK pays, and it says active as you want to be in PTK, as engaged as you want to be. So I encourage you guys to be engaged. And the next thing I just wanted to cover was just Phi Theta Kappa in general. And I think I've spoke about that. I had a picture of my officer team, which Neville traveled to New Mexico last year and spoke with you. You know how incredibly inspiring, well-spoken, and passionate he is. I had an amazing opportunity to grow with them as student leaders. And I think that highlights one of the most important things in PTK is just the friendships that you build, the connections you make, the assistance that they give you, the encouragement that you feed off each other. I love that team. I love all of my officer teams that I've been a part of. And again, just like the leaders, the mentors, the advisors influence me, each of them have an impact on me as well. And then before I get into it, I just want to thank the New Mexico leadership team. I want to thank I see advisors in the room. This society is about the members, but we can't focus on school and run it. And you guys do an amazing job in facilitating the opportunities in PTK and allowing us to have a society that reflects us and listening to us and instituting things that we want, but also just, taking control of that so we can focus on our schoolwork, so we can focus on our lives that are so diverse and so at many times complicated and complex. So thank you so much. If we have any college administrators, thank you for supporting PTK. Thank you for bringing it to your campus. And you guys make it possible for us to be acknowledged for academic excellence and thrive in the environments that we do. And then specifically, before I talk about academic excellence and just how I've navigated school, there are just some main things in life that have taught me. So if you don't know my background, I was the first international president who has ever been incarcerated. And so there are a few things that in 2016, I was not the same James let's say 5 years before that or 10 years before that. I was very different. And before I could even take advantage of what PTK had to offer to me, I had to learn a few things. And I think the first thing that I wanted to touch on is managing obstacles is just so huge for me. When at an early on stage, when I was not very mature, managing obstacles, I did not handle it well. I hit an obstacle and I quit. I gave up. I didn't want to focus. I didn't want to get through it. And I think that being able to come to spending 5.5 years in prison, dealing with racism in my private school that I went to, Christian school, a lot of these things, dealing with drugs and addiction and selling drugs, dealing with, family issues, whether it be my parents getting divorced. I had these obstacles that I really didn't want to face head on, that I chose to ignore. And that didn't allow me to grow. Like, those obstacles are in your life for you to grow, for to humble you, and to allow you to see, that this might be hard right now, but the reason why success feels so good is because the obstacles you overcame. And that kind of leads into the next point of just accepting failure, right? To be a successful person is to fail over and over and over and over and over again. And knowing that failure is just a step in success. I have failed at every step. Even, I went to prison, and that was a big failure. And I had to maintain my life, change it. And even though I could, quote unquote, call myself a successful person today, I still fail just as much as today as I did then. It's the way I'm handling the obstacles. It's the way that I'm accepting failure and knowing that it's just a learning opportunity. And I know that I'm not saying anything brand new to anyone, and I'm not going to say anything brand new today. In changing my life, I didn't do anything. There was no magic thing that I did. It was just, I came to terms with a lot of these things that I'm sharing with you. And I know many of you, if you're in this room, you already are doing that as well. And so hopefully I'm reinforcing that for you. Hopefully you can see me as someone that is a mirror for you. Like, yes, we can do this. We're doing the right thing. We can reaffirm each other, and we can continue to strive. And then after accepting failure is kind of the suffering. And I hate to use that word because it's strong, but like with overcoming obstacles and accepting failure, inherently you will suffer in many ways. And what you do in that suffering really shows who you are as a person. In your hardest times, right? It's not, we don't want to know who you are when everything's good. Like, you see me today, I have a suit on, it's nice outside, of course you're going to see a good James. But what I hope is that in my hard times, people see the same James. And I hope that you guys learn that suffering is hard, and we don't want to go through it, especially with this past year. Like, many of us have gone through those instances where we're suffering, but we could quit or we could continue to strive, and that's going to build our character. That's going to build our trust in ourselves, which is important. It's going to build our love in ourselves. It's going to build the grace we give ourselves. And it's going to be truly vital to your success moving forward. We will never not have suffering. And so I encourage you, to just kind of be comfortable with obstacles, be comfortable with failure, be comfortable with suffering, because at the end of the day, as you can be comfortable with those, it kind of evens you out as a person. Something I learned about myself is I was very high and low, and that's not always good. It's not always good to be really high. It's not always good to be really low. But if you can balance yourself out, and you can remain positive in hard times and humble in successful times, you will probably I would say you'd be generally happier person in life, and a more successful person. And so then the next thing is just trust. I think you build that. I had to build the trust in myself as I was struggling through those days in prison of being away, isolated from people, seeing my family through glass, not touching my mom or parents for 4 years. I had to deal with that suffering, obstacles, failure. But then I had to trust myself that even though my life up until this point wasn't very optimistic, I could do it, right? I could love myself enough. I can trust myself enough that I can go through this incredibly hard transformation process and come out on the other side a better person. And when you can start to trust yourself and love yourself, that gives you the ability to give that to others. Because some people say, if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? If you don't trust yourself, how can you not trust someone else? And that was truly important. And the reason why I'm touching on these things is because, like I said, I didn't just come into Phi Theta Kappa. If I would have came in how I was when I was 18, I would not have had the same experience. But these were vital things that allowed me to take advantage of the opportunities that Phi Theta Kappa is going to prevent, and that your education is going to prevent and give to you in the long run. And the last thing I want to touch on before I get into school is passion versus purpose. I think I was always a passionate person, always an emotional person, probably to my detriment sometimes, but I don't think I had a lot of purpose. And I really want to highlight a difference here, right? Your purpose is not always going to be your passion. Your purpose is like that. If you believe in a God, it's that God-given ability. If you don't believe in God, it's the energy that just comes in a certain area of your life, or it's just that you have, right? Each of us have a special gift. We are all talented at something, right? That is your purpose. It might not be something that you want. I came to find out while I was in prison and through Phi Theta Kappa that my purpose was leadership. Even when I wasn't being a good leader or a role model, people still gravitated towards me. People still wanted to be around me. I didn't always want that. I didn't want to be the center of attention sometimes. I wasn't living a good life, and I didn't want to focus on me. And I had to learn that that's not always it. And your purpose is something that you can't run away from. So if you're trying to run away from it, it's only going to catch up to you. And the sooner you accept it, and the sooner you start feeding it and facilitating its growth, you're going to see your life start turning in a direction, and you're going to see things that just click, right? When you're following your purpose in life, it's like you wake up in the morning and all you got to do is just try, and it's going to end up working out. There are many days where I'm not feeling it, but I know that if I wake up and just put my foot in front of me, things happen. And that's not by my ability. That's by, like I said, if you believe in energy, if you believe in higher power, it's just kind of that destiny in your life. And so my passion, it's important to find what you're passionate about. I wasn't truly passionate about many things before I went to jail. I was emotional, and you could call that passion, but not really passion. And when I was in jail, I found my passion for prison reform. I found my passion for advocacy. I found my passion for, speaking up for people who are in minority communities or who are oppressed. And the cool thing is in Phi Theta Kappa, I found that moment where my passion and my purpose collided. And that is an incredible experience in your life, in moments. And I can think it doesn't just happen overnight, but as you're going, you're starting to see, wow, like what truly happens when you can feed your purpose and you can build your passion, and then find those places where they intersect is like those aha moments. You're probably most successful moments in life that I've experienced. So I would encourage you, again, I'll just go back over them. Comfortability with obstacles, accepting failure, understanding the value of suffering, trusting and loving yourself, and finding your passion and purpose. And I think those areas in my life, just in general, allowed me to be prepared to step up to the opportunities that were presented to me through Phi Theta Kappa. And so when we speak about academic excellence, I mean, you got educational excellence, you guys are doing that. Again, you guys are achieving that. You wouldn't be in Phi Theta Kappa if you didn't achieve that. But I think I can highlight things that were important to me in my academic success. And a lot of it, again, I'm going to be able to tie back to what I just talked about. When I came back to school, while I was incarcerated, I took courses through Ohio University, and there were things that I needed to learn. And that was, I needed to stop doubting myself. I needed to believe in my academic ability. I never thought that I was very intelligent. Come to find out, I'm actually intelligent. I'm not always going to be the smartest in the room, but I have the intelligence to succeed, and I can grow, and I can, if I work hard, I can do well. So I had to have structure, right? Whether if I was incarcerated and I was taking classes on my own. It was all paper-based. The only communication I had with anyone were I would submit a paper and my professors would write maybe a nice comment or like, you could grow here, you should do better here. And so I went from going to school where I had administration, faculty, parents, all these people telling me I need to be at school and not being able to still do it, to having to find it in myself to build structure. And so I could wake up in prison and no one's going to tell me, no one's in prison going to be like, James, you need to do your homework. Honestly, a lot of people could care less that I was doing my homework. And so I had to find how can I structure my life? How am I going to do this? I'm going to wake up. I'm going to set this time aside to work. And I'm going to continue to go through my day. So structure was important. And then when I got out, it's just as important. Now I have other responsibilities. In a sense, it could be harder in prison, but it's also easier because I'm isolated. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. My food's given to me. They tell me what I have where. They tell me where I can go. So it's very controlled in a sense, not focused on academics like school was prior, but it was a controlled environment. And now I'm out after 5.5 years and life is hitting me and I want to do things. I want to go places. I want to make up for time I missed. But I had to find that structure at Delaware Technical Community College. I had to get a job because that was part of my probation. So I had to work a full day and then I had to go to evening classes and then I had to make sure I came home and put the time in to study. And I know many of you go through that same experience, whether you're working, whether you're taking care of a loved one, whether you're, have a child, whatever obstacles, not obstacles, or just different diverse lifestyles we have to balance our academics. We have to find structure in our lives to succeed. And I think what helped me with structure is time management. That's huge, right? Again, I'm not going to be talking about anything brand new. I'm really just going to be preaching about things that we already know. Time management was probably vital here when I got to Columbia. The academic rigor of this environment, the reading levels, the amount of reading. For some classes, I'm gonna have to read 200 pages in a week, and that's just one class. And I'm gonna have to write a long paper, and they want you write it a certain way, and you're learning new things. And this is the first time I ever lived on my own outside of prison, right? So this is, now I have the world, and I'm not on probation. I have no restrictions, and I'm in this brand new city, and I needed to focus on time management, and that was something that I didn't have at first. But you continue to grow and you continue to work on it. You use whatever tricks and trades that work for you. Some people, they use a planner. I don't use a planner. It's more just in my head. I use my calendar on my phone, and in my head, I commit to, before I go to bed, this is what I'm doing. This is what I need to do. And being engaged with my emails, help me with time management. Don't ignore your emails because, professors send you emails. People, it's like, we're afraid, like, oh, email comes in. We don't want to look at that. Like, but it's good to know. It's, if you know, you're prepared. So however you can stay on top of everything that you have as you juggle your life will help you with time management. And we all learn differently and we all do different aspects. So it was important for me to focus on time management, work ethic. I feel like work ethic is really important. And we have that. We have that as PTK members. We're balancing chapter life. We're balancing things at home. And I feel like that helps when you can find your passion and purpose and align that with academics as well, because then it's not work. I come to find out I really enjoy my academic readings. I come to find out I really enjoy writing my papers. I came to find out that I enjoy being in class and listening to lectures and engaging in scholarly conversations and expanding my views. So I think the work ethic comes when you can align your passion and purpose with your academic work. And if you're someone who's leaving academics and going into your work life, I hope that you're pursuing a job, a career that you are passionate about and that you can apply your purpose to, because that's going to make your work like not work. And we've all heard that, like, you want to have a job that's not really a job. And even if you like it, it'd still be a job sometimes, but you just, that's where the good balance comes in with time and structure. You get yourself away from it, you come back to it, and it's new again. So work ethic was extremely important. I had to work extremely hard, especially if you know that you're not the brightest. I know that I'm not just naturally gifted with intelligence. I have to work a little harder than the person who is. Let's say Neville, he's naturally brilliant. It comes a little easier to him than it did to me, but other things in my life come easier. But I know that I have to work a little harder than he did, spend a little more time than he did. And then the second thing is the academic support team. My life has always been unconventional. Never have I had an academic experience where it's just, I'm a traditional student, where it's just, I'm just showing up for school, I'm doing my schoolwork and I'm going home. Maybe when I was on house arrest, when I got out and I'm on an ankle monitor and I'm going to classes and I have to engage with an academic support team. I need to be talking to my advisor, letting her know what's going on, communicating with my probation officer, communicating with professors who might want me to work on a group project after class, and speaking up for myself, advocating for myself, is important as a student. And we're not always going to be, it's not easy to speak up for yourself if you've never felt empowered to speak up. And so that was something coming out of prison, you know, you're told to, you know, you're not supposed to speak up. You're supposed to listen, conform, go, go, go. And so in many ways, people who were previously incarcerated come out and they are institutionalized in that sense. And so it was very awkward for me to go to an instructor that I looked up into a position in like official leadership and say, you know, and speak up for myself. It's almost like I probably shouldn't do that. That's something that we should be doing. And obviously, respectfully, you don't approach them in the wrong way, but that's something that in developing relationships, if you have the trust in yourself and love in yourself, you can trust an advisor who's telling you, let me help you, but then sometimes we don't go back to them. We don't trust them. To the ability to trust them and allow them to help you grow in advocating for yourself. And in some situations, it's just not appropriate for you to advocate for yourself. And they will do that for you. And that has been vital through my success, especially here, and having a daughter and going home and trying to balance this new experience. My advisor, Dean Remedios here, has done amazing things. And many times she's like, James, I'll handle this. I know you can handle this, but I know you have a lot on your plate. I will email your professors for you. I'll contact them. If they need anything, they'll come through me. And if you need anything, you come through me. And just having that advocate there allows me to be successful academically and relying on them. It's okay. We're not islands. We don't do it on our own. We don't achieve success on our own. And I think, again, with that academic support team, whether it be a college administrator, whether it be an advisor, academic advisor, or PTK advisor, just a professor or instructor, it might even just be faculty on campus that you engage with. If you're working on campus, I know I worked on campus and my coworkers with that support team sometimes. That can come from anywhere, but the next thing I want to talk about is friendship. Like fellowship in PTK is the importance of, this is why I feel engagement is so important on campus. It is so hard to exist on your own. And at a community college, it is so easy to do that. And it's easy, I mean, not just community college, it's easy at any campus. And it's even more of an issue now that we're isolated and in this virtual environment, and we're hopefully coming to the end of that. But you have to actively seek out engagement. It's not, oh, it's going to come to me. You have to actively say, this is what I want to do. And the cool thing about it is the statistics studies have shown, like, if you are a more engaged student, you're going to be more successful. And I think that is the reason behind PTK's 93% graduation rate compared to, you know, the lower graduation rates at community colleges, because we're engaging, we're building community, we're building support systems, and we're building friendships. Your friends can be really vital to you. And my friends here at Columbia, being completely new here, not knowing anyone and establishing friends, has helped me to, one, be okay with being insecure, be okay with being awkward, be okay with the imposter syndrome that I feel that I don't belong all the time. Because what's going through my head is what's going through their head too. And it's harder because we are in little boxes. You know, maybe if you were in the classroom, you could feel someone's nervous energy, or you could sense it. And it's a lot harder here. Some of my friends who are in PTK who are here with me, they're a lot better than me. They even private message people in their classes. Like one of my friends, Marie, she will private message someone and say, oh, I like the outfit you're wearing, or I see the water bottle you have, I have one too. Like, these little things of engagement and building connections are really important, and it makes us realize that we're just really all the same. We're all going through the same situations, different, but still in many ways the same. And it's going to help you feel like you belong. And that's really important. It's really important you feel like you belong, especially, like I said, if you deal with that imposter syndrome that I have dealt with every level of my academic journey. And it's important to start tearing that down, those stigmas that we perceive in our own head that maybe people aren't putting on us. I mean, society puts enough stuff on us. We don't need to be putting them on us as well. And then, you know, I have engagement here, but I think that's just through everything. I think that is just engagement, to the point that Faith was saying earlier, like engagement, engage. And be willing to put yourself out there. Like, you can't, it's all a bunch of cliche stuff, but you can't succeed if you don't try. You're not going to get an opportunity if you don't jump for it. Like, it's just not going to happen. And what's going to happen is you're going to fail, but you're going to fail and then you're going to succeed. And that has happened throughout my life. And I think in turning to my academic journey here, it's a different academic experience from community college. I think community college did a great job with preparing me as a young professional as well as PTK and getting me to a place where I have structure, where I can thrive in this academic environment. But here, the rigor is just something that I've never experienced before. And I think what helps me with that is unbiased reading. Like I think, one of my least favorite things at a community college was reading and writing, right? I love to learn. I love to listen to a professor lecture. I love to debate and talk and have discussions in class. But that little bit of extra effort when I get home to read sources, to look for sources, to write, to put a little bit more time to do some free writing. I wish that I would have done that more on campus there, and it would have helped me here. Luckily, I was prepared for the struggles that I would face here. And when I'm used to getting A's and A pluses on my papers at community college level, and you get your first B minus or, C, or you totally miss the point altogether, and they say, luckily they like you, they say, why don't you try this again? You're able to face that friction, that obstacle, that failure, and you're able to overcome that. And I think that was something that Columbia taught me fast here within the first couple of weeks. So unbiased reading, and especially in this time of disinformation, misinformation, it's really important that you're exposing yourself to different views. And I think Columbia has done a great job at instilling that in me. I have my preconceived thoughts. It's really detrimental to be a concrete person in your beliefs and thoughts. And I think that in unbiased reading and free writing, you allow yourself to explore thoughts. You allow yourself to express thoughts. You allow yourself to critically think about the world around you, and shift from a mindset of learning. You don't go to school to know, you go to school to learn, and you never stop learning, right? It's kind of funny, like I kind of learned, like, you don't get a degree to say, I know, and many people do. I get a degree to say, I know this. It's more of, you get a degree to say, I can challenge this, or I can offer you a strong question about this that we can think about, and we might accept it as a theory or a thought or a fact. But it's truly important to be able to understand that you're not going to reach a place of all knowing. Many things in life, which makes life so great, are those tensions, are those nebulous spaces, are those just question areas. And in those question areas, if you stay there for a minute, you can get a better understanding of the world around you. And that's really how academically, I think at Columbia is what they're teaching me to be. And I value that. It's something that is really empowering. And I think it's allowed me to really appreciate the value of education. So if you're looking to transfer to a 4-year, inevitably it will be a jump, whether you're going to an Ivy League, whether you're going to a state college. There is no right or wrong decision to pick. You should weigh your options. You should think about what's important for you, what's your non-negotiables in picking a school, what environment you want. But it's obviously going to be a growth. It's not going to be the same as it was where you were. And this isn't to say that community college isn't hard, because community college has its own struggles that are unique to that make it hard. And we know that community college students are more successful at 4-year universities because it is that unique challenge. And I am successful because of my community college education. But if I'm giving you tricks, if you're still at college and you're going to be at community college for another year, take time to read more sources. If your professor gives you a reading, don't just skim it. Like, have some integrity, give it the integrity, give it the time it deserves, explore it, and try and come to enjoy it, because it is an incredible experience. What I will say though is it's hard. I know that that's hard. When I'm here now, my life here is different than when I was at community college. I had my daughter, I had a job, I was a family, my dad. I had to take care of my dad because of his health, at times with my mom. And so I'm on my own, and I have that time to do that. And so I understand that it is hard. But if you can make that little bit of time to do that, I really encourage you to do that. It's going to translate well when you transition to the next school that you're at. And I think, the last thing I want to touch on before we can, ask questions, because I can tell you what I think, but you might have things in your own head that you want to ask or offer to the conversation, and maybe we have a dialogue. I would love to do that as well. Is just the willingness to be, and I said this, to be wrong, like, again, accepting failure. I mean, the process of learning is to be wrong. You think that and you get corrected. And that is all a part of the process. And when we kind of step outside of ourselves, it's easy in situations where I feel not as humble. I'm arrogant. I have all this success. I know I'm right. I know what I'm doing. I have these scholarships. I have this GPA here. That it's not beneficial. It's really beneficial to remain humble. It's really beneficial to remain open, and those things that make you uncomfortable, seek out. My views have drastically changed through my engagement in PTK, because it's so diverse. I'm coming in contact with people that I held by. Just because I'm part of a minority group doesn't mean that I don't hold biases or negative thoughts about other people. And I had to be willing to let go and admit that I'm wrong, and be willing to correct it. And that's a better life. It's a better life. You have less friction. You're less with battle with everything, and you're able to start enjoying things and appreciating things that you've never appreciated before. And so in your academic journey, remain open, always ask a question. Don't think everything is a lie, but ask a question. Be a scholar, right? That is to be a scholar. Ask a question, challenge it, critically think about it. Even if your views don't change, at least you expose yourself to other views in your field of study and in life in general. So always ask questions more than try and give answers. Some things there just are answers to, right? 2 + 2 is 4. But a lot of these harder things that we're dealing with in society today and the problems in the future are not simple questions. They're things that we need to ask. They're things that we need to critically think about. And if you want to continue to grow, if you're already at a high level, right? We're already at a high level. It's going to take it's going to take high work. It's going to take those question asking to continue to polish something that is already polished. So continue to ask those questions and continue to grow, value your education. And if you're going into a work field, continue the same things that you've done to be successful. Do that in your work and into your career, and apply those things and grow and continue to try and grow in your work in your job, and just continue to do what you're all doing. It's really, some days we want to quit. Some days I want to quit still. Some days are harder than other days, but it's just that willingness to keep going, what you guys have done. So I just want to say thank you for letting me share in these brief 40 minutes. Thank you for sharing in community with me. It's great to see people. And I will turn it over to the leadership. And if we have questions, I would love to talk.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate you participating and being here with us. And you hit many good subjects. And it's definitely with what everyone is dealing with nowadays. And that's just our new norm for now, until things reopen, get back going. And of course, there's going to be many new job positions because of what we're going through now. And it's very inspiring and heartfelt to hear what you've gone through and where you came from. And I commend you. It takes a strong will and steady fast forward, and where you come from and where you're headed to. So with that's just that's great. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for James?
I'll ask one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years after you've graduated Columbia? Where are you going? Do you know yet?
I tend to hold, yes. I mean, I tend to hold on to my career goals and future plans loosely because I know that life will put you where it wants you to be. I do plan on, I'll graduate here in 2023. I plan on attending law school, either here, I'd like to go, I love DC, maybe Georgetown, Columbia. Hopefully I continue to maintain a high GPA and it's just, I get to choose. I would like to be a judge. I'd go into law in New York. You have to be a lawyer for 10 years. If ultimate career goal, like just long shot, Supreme Court justice would be incredible. I think that's an amazing responsibility, but heavy responsibility. And I think that would be awesome. But I do see myself working in the field of law, working with oppressed groups, minority groups, advocating for them. My life has taught me numerous times the value of knowing law and knowing the system that we live in, and the ability when you know law, you know that it's shaped with precedent. It's not like we think something's concrete. It's not as concrete as we think it is. Precedent is set by judges who make a decision. And so I would love to be one of those judges who is making a decision and reshaping precedent that might be racist or might be sexist or might be oppressive in a manner. So I would love to be involved in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone has put a question in the chat box. Do you see yourself becoming a congressman or U.S. senator?
I came to Columbia wanting to go into politics. This is not a knock on politics. I think we all have that love-hate with politics. I did loosely have that dream. I won't say that I'm not still pursuing it, but I have moved away from that. But I have envisioned myself doing that, and I won't say that it's not an option.
Now, based on your background, has your experience there at Columbia been mostly positive, especially after people find out what your background is?
Oh, great question. Yeah, that's a great question. I get to pitch to general studies. So if you're looking for a Ivy League destination, the School of General Studies is the premier place for you to go. I will say it's the premier school to go to for transfer, but that is, biased, and in no way am I saying that is actually true. But they have what I would say is you look for a transfer, you need to look, the reason why I say that about GS is you need to look for a community that is going to support non-traditional students. When I did my school search, I could give you a talk about that. We just talked about that at another conference. It's important for you to look at how do they treat transfer students? What is the transfer environment like? What type of resources are there for you as a non-traditional student that's going to help you? GS is, so I got the PALS scholarship, which pays for my tuition because I was incarcerated. The PALS scholarship is for underrepresented groups of students at Columbia. And so that made me part of an underrepresented group, and that made it possible to receive that funding. They are actively looking for people who have been incarcerated that have the academic intelligence to be there, and they value me. I get to, I was a part of a Justice and Pandemics Preparedness Academy, which is probably one of the first things I did. And I do want to touch on this because I get to do research, which is really cool. One of the first things I did outside the classroom, when I got here, I told myself, I know I need to get my foundation, but I'm going to challenge myself to at least do one thing outside the classroom while I'm here. And that was to apply for their first Justice and Pandemics Preparedness Academy, which 20 students were selected from all the colleges. And that opportunity, I think, really showed to me the value of Columbia. I didn't know much about COVID-19, to be honest, and I probably didn't take it as seriously as I should. And because I am a younger population, I knew I wasn't as risk, and I really just wanted to live my life. So in many ways, I was selfish in thinking. But when you get these top minds, top epidemiologists you see them on TV, and they're coming to you in this intimate environment, and they're giving you this cutting edge research and facts on mask wearing, on the vaccine, on all of these things. It's incredible. It's humbling, and it's inspiring. And then when it's got the justice aspect, so that's why I applied for it, because I'm very much into justice, into the idea of what is justice and thinking about justice. And I think what I loved about it is it was about COVID-19, but what COVID-19 has done is it has exposed things that we have become blind to, like the disproportionate rates of African Americans and Hispanics who are suffering from COVID-19. And that is because the color line has affected the public health space when they go to, when they need to get help or when they're interacting with doctors. Racism is still prevalent. And so and then I saw interconnections with jail. But then what was really cool was my experience when we were talking about jail. So if you hear about COVID-19 in jail, you might not understand why it's so crazy, because you're in confined spaces and it can spread easily. And I'm able to give these real life experiences that students who never met anyone who's incarcerated before didn't know. And they were able to give them to me. And what you learn is that, like I always say, remain open. That's where we learn so much. And then inside that academy, it was an incredible experience of sharing knowledge, sharing experience, different walks of life from people from different countries, different backgrounds. And it was really a great experience. And so, and I get offer that experience to say, like, yes, they do value me here. And no, I have not felt that way. I'm very open about my path. And that's something that I chose to do when I got out. I didn't want to hide from it. I knew it was going to be a problem whether I hid from it or not. So I wanted to take it head on. So, but yes, I have felt welcome here. I am valued here. I have an incredible support team in the general studies. It's a whole school focused on there's about 3,000 of us that are non-traditional students here at Columbia. They have events for us to go to. And I met there are other formerly incarcerated, I like to say, returning citizens here doing some amazing things. And they've taken me under their wing, connected me with individuals. Like this semester, I am taking a first-year legal writing course with a Superior Court judge, Supreme Court, they call it in New York, here in New York. So she's offering this really exclusive, there's 3 returning citizens, with counting myself, who are taking this course with her. We don't get credits. We don't have to pay though. And it's a great jumpstart on my path to law school. And it's a tough class that many law school students struggle with in their first year. And she's giving me valuable connections. I have an internship lined up next fall when I come back. And so, yeah, I've always felt welcome. I've felt appreciated. I felt valued here at GS.
Thank you.
Thank you for those great questions.
You're muted, Rebecca.
Sorry. Oh, I just wanted to say, James, I'm truly grateful that you're being open and honest. That's very courageous of you. And just even think that, it's better to hit it head on than to be hiding from it. That's how we all learn from our past and move forward. So great job. You're doing a great job, and you have a bright future in front of you. So keep up the great work.
Thank you. And I also just want to say congratulations on your year. Congratulations on the awards that the chapters and advisors are receiving. Congratulations on your work as a region. Thank you for being, a part of this society and helping it grow. I think we kind of take it for granted sometimes that people sacrifice and work really hard. And we wouldn't have a society if it wasn't for students that engage and advisors that engage. It's kind of something as an alumni, I kind of get that perspective looking back. And not everybody is willing to step up and offer that time. So thank you so much. Congratulations to the New Mexico region and all of your hard work. And if in any way I can be assistance in the future, again, I would love to be. And if anyone has any students that won scholarships or have won scholarships, congratulations on those awards. They are incredible awards. You deserve them. You work extremely hard, and have them be a reminder of the hard work. Don't let them go to your head, but be something that you fall back on and you can be proud of yourself for.
Yeah, I just got the Coca-Cola Gold Scholarship.
Nice.
So
congratulations.
we were telling everybody, about just how important scholarships are. Apply, and even though it's a tedious process, do little chunks at a time. Get to know the people that you want to write those letters for you. get them going.
Absolutely, and that is a long process. It is hard, but I mean, and sometimes we can admit we see, oh, it's only $2,000. What's that going to do? But it's more of it's a testament to who you are. I can build a resume now, and I can have these scholarships on there. And what is that going to do for my future? What is that going to do when I go to apply for a job? How much more money or how much more valuable am I going to be with a scholarship? So you're continuing to benefit from that scholarship over and over again throughout your life.
It also helps you prepare for transferring because of a lot of the schools, they want you to write essays anyway, which is all what's in the scholarship. And so save your stuff.
Absolutely.
Add to it.
Yeah. And when you write those scholarships, if this is the biggest advice that I give, is don't just say you're amazing. Like show them the struggles, show them what makes you amazing, and how you show them what makes you amazing is showing them what you've overcome. I applied for BTK scholarships my first year, and I was very conservative in what I said. I tried to present what I thought was this great image of me, and I didn't win a single scholarship. And when I finally was like, you know what? I talked to people. I also didn't seek help on writing it. So I talked to people, I engaged with people, and I was willing to open up, and that really illustrated what I was able to achieve. And I'm sure, Faith, that you did that too, and that's why you received that gold scholarship, because they could see through your writing what you had overcome and all of the obstacles.
Yeah, you got it. That's exactly what I was telling everybody. Own your past, because it makes you who you are, and it helps you go the direction that you've chosen.
Absolutely, that's great advice.
So one more question before you leave us, James. I see
Yes.
on your wall back there, I'm assuming that's your wall.
Yes.
Back there behind you, and I see you have the Obamas and look like Fearless Girl back there.
Absolutely.
Who are the B-ballers, though? You can't see that one very clearly.
Yeah, so that is Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and obviously they never played against each other, so that's like an edited image.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love talking about these. So just real quick, I'm sorry, they're there for a reason. That kind of like portray my values. The Fearless Girl one. I have a little daughter, and I want her to grow up, in this masculine society where it's a lot of times it's easier for men, and I will admit that, to achieve things. I want her to know that she can face anything and do anything. So I have that there for her, and I think Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant just show their amazing work ethic. They worked really hard to be who they were. As a young person, I kind of looked at them and thought, it's just God-given, you'll have to try, and that's so not true. You have to develop that passion and purpose. And obviously Obama is just a political figure in my life that I look up to as a man of color. His demeanor, the way he approached, he might not have always done the best thing, but he always, I felt like, handled himself appropriately, and his character and morals were important to me. And then Michelle, just being a strong Black woman, and the intersectionality and women struggling to be in leadership positions, and then it can be even harder if you're a Black woman or a woman that identifies as in the LGBTQ plus community. All of these things for women, it's hard, and I think that's incredible testament to her work ethic, who she is, and the other women that are doing amazing things throughout the history of our society that we don't recognize. So they're very intentional posters. Thank you for asking. I love to share. And I feel like they're a reminder of what I want to be and also what I want to reflect and cultivate.
And someone just made a comment that they need to get an inspirational wall as well. So there you go.
They should, especially if you're looking at your screen in class and you can see yourself, you can see them behind you, and you can remember what you're doing this all for. It is a great way to just be fun and decorative and play with this virtual environment, but also empower yourself, because you're going to be waking up looking at them every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, James. Will you be sticking with us to the end of the conference, or?
I have, just with the semester ending in a month, we're approaching finals and I have papers. And so I really am going to have to engage with my work. I would love to, but
it was a shot. It was worth a shot. But thank you very much.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you, James. I greatly appreciated all your insights and just your passion. Thank you for just being you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for offering me an opportunity to do what I love. I love to engage people, and it's not, it's no matter how small an event is or big an event is, I value it because it's not often people ask you to come speak to them, right? It's always a humbling experience. And I value your time, and I value your opportunity that it was extended. And thank you so much again.